Hey, I'm the manifesting princess, and I went from unconsciously living in my personal hell to consciously creating my heaven on earth. And that looks like taking aligned action so that I may have aligned experiences. And this channel is basically my digital diary where I share insights, tools, and just like my personal journey so that you too can start creating your heaven on earth. So recently, I had made a comment on a YouTube channel that unexpectedly received a lot of attention and had quite a few disagreements. Now, this comment was, my personal choice on how I support my peace and just a personal practice that I do that is not a universal rule. And as I was getting like these notifications as they were coming in, I kind of quickly noticed how strangers felt entitled to judge someone else's life and, make assumptions about others. And it got me to thinking, like, why do people feel the need to control other people's lives and how they choose to live? I've always lived by this principle of I've always lived by the principle that everyone has autonomy of their own lives and they have the right to live a way that feels aligned for them as long as it's not harming anyone else. Different people do different things to protect their peace. And that can literally be just how they structure their lives, the media they consume, the food they eat, just different little things. And it's just very interesting because, we say we value freedom and individuality, but when other people don't follow the script that we have for ourselves, it often makes us uncomfortable. And then, it triggers this discomfort. And it's so easy to say, we want freedom for ourselves, but yet we struggle to give that same freedom to others. And it's important to remember that autonomy is not about freedom for ourselves, but it's also allowing other people to express themselves and live their lives as they so choose us to. And so, as we consciously create our lives, it is natural for everyone to have their personal version of peace, truth, their heaven. And it is normal for it to look different from what we envision for our lives. And that's because, we're all so uniquely different. And that difference shouldn't feel like a threat. It shouldn't offend you. It's just simply like each individual having their own personal experience. The same freedom you give yourself to express how you want to live, we have to allow that for others and strangers, even if we don't necessarily agree. Again, like, as long as how they're living is not impeding on the autonomy of someone else, it's not harming another soul, allow them to experience their personal heaven or hell, whatever it is that they're creating, allowing them to have that experience. So instead of getting upset or trying to force people to align with your ideology, your practice, what we can do is focus on what we truly can control. And that is how we respond to things, our own boundaries, our own actions, our own choices. And so it really begs the question, and something like I start questioning myself as well, because it's something, I had struggled with in the past and continue to like be more consciously aware of is, am I controlling others because I genuinely care or because it challenges my own beliefs? And when you want to voice something because you do genuinely care and it's authentic to your belief system and you do believe like whatever that person is doing is causing harm or whatever the case may be, there are respectful approaches to that, where you don't have to bully someone or make assumptions, but rather approach the situation with more curiosity than defensiveness. I feel like that goes also a long way when you are, co-creating in spaces, because remember, we are all co-creating in this earthly experience. And so just remember, that everyone is navigating life through their own experiences, their beliefs, and nervous systems. And what brings peace to you may not bring peace to another person. And that is okay. Like, that is the beauty of autonomy, is that we get to decide what alignment looks for us. You get to decide what your heaven entails. And it may not be the same as someone else's, and that is okay. So, with that being said, I love you guys, and cheers to co-creating our heaven on earth. I will catch you next time.